Alright, guys. Let me just say, frame one. First things first. It's not fair. It's completely not fair. Mappa can't be doing this to people. They can't be walking around freaking dick slinging, slamming it on the table and saying, yeah, we're here, guys. Man, because Hell's Paradise episode 1 was really, really good. They did a great job. As a manga reader, I think they killed episode 1. It's damn near identical to the very first chapter of the series, to a T. They changed the littlest minute detail ever in changing the name of something else. But even then, they probably made it easier for people to understand. It's just, they did such a good job. It's not fair. Mappa can't keep doing this to people. They can't keep reigning supreme like this. But that's enough gushing coming from me. Let's talk about some Hell's Paradise episode 1 now, baby, because they really did kill it. So our episode begins immediately with an execution, as we see someone trying to desperately cut a man's head off, but to no avail, as we see our main character, Gabimaru, a very dangerous man, and one that will not be killed so easily. Gabimaru is a very empty man. He's a man who has sacrificed everything for his line of work, which makes his nickname all the more fitting. Gabimaru the Hollow. Now, after every failed execution attempt, we see Gabimaru brought back to his cell and questioned by this female inspector who's come in to oversee his execution and to document it. As she says, alright, so your name's Gabimaru. You were born a shinobi in the village of Ikawakara, and you've studied only assassination techniques since you were a child. During your training, many lives are lost, but in exchange, those who survive develop superhuman bodies. You know, someone from Iwagakari like yourself, for them, breaking a blade with your own flesh must be a simple task. As Gabimaru says, yeah, pretty much. And it's here as we transition to another execution attempt. It quite literally goes up in smoke and fails. You can't say they're not trying. And as Gabimaru gets brought back to the cell, he tells the inspector, you know, I'm not trying to resist here. I'm not trying to resist. As she tells him, yeah, sure you're not. I get it. As we can see that this has become a daily routine for these two while they've been here. And it's here Gabimaru tells her, you know, my background's not very interesting. I don't know if you really want to hear about it. But she tells him, it's my job, so I have to. And she starts asking him a bunch of questions. And she asks about his parents, and he says, my parents? I don't know. I was only told they were killed by the village chief when I was a baby. I don't know why. What are my dreams? Oh, I don't have any. Shinobi don't have any great purpose. They just kill as they're told. Why was I caught, you ask? Well, I tried to leave the village. I was captured on a job when my cohorts betrayed me. The village chief himself probably put them up to it. The village doesn't allow anyone to leave. And it's here she tries to ask him flat out, why'd you try to leave the village in the first place? But we'll come back to this question in a second, because it's here we transition to our next execution attempt. And you definitely can't say they're not getting more creative, as we see it's death by bulls. More specifically, tying the rope around his legs and yanking his legs off. Pretty barbaric way to do it, but effective. But, just like all the other attempts, this one fails miserably too. But here, this time, something interesting happens as the inspector walks up to him and says, this is kind of strange, you know? Despite saying you want to be killed, it seems to me as though you were resisting just now. Interesting. As she asks him again, why'd you try to leave your village? And this time, he actually decides to tell her, as he says, you know, it really wasn't for an interesting reason, but, you know, I was the best in Awagakari. I had the chief's recognition and I married his daughter. But his daughter was a real idiot, you know? I don't understand how a shinobi's, much less the chief's daughter, ends up like that. She was a carefree, naive, and sheltered girl. She turned my life upside down. I was totally bewildered, and I got fed up with her. I didn't want to lose my edge. And it's here as we transition to Gabimaru trying to leave his village. We see the village set a trap for him, as he says, "I knew I'd been set up. But I also knew the people of Iwakakari would follow me everywhere, even if I escaped. It was stupid of me to defy the chief in the first place. So I just gave up." As he tells the inspector, well, not very interesting now, is it? And it's here later that night, as he's in his cell, he thinks back on the words that she told him previously that day. And we realize that he has been resisting the executions this entire time, as he even asks himself, what am I doing? And it's here as we transition to the next day and the next execution. This one might be the most brutal of all, as we hear death by boiling, also known as death by cauldron, uses quite a large amount of oil. And can I just say, guys, that this shot right here looks bad ass. They killed it. They absolutely killed it. And as we see this attempt fail as well, we hear Gabimaru asking himself, why won't I die? I should have no lingering attachments. I should be empty. But it's in this moment, after another failed attempt, the inspector says, all right, sir, the arrangements have been made. I'm ready to start whenever. And it's here as we transition to our next scene, to the next execution attempt. This one is quite a bit different. And it's here as we're brought to this small chamber room, and we see the inspector kneeling in the center. The man says, she's no mere inspector. She's a sword tester sent here from Edo. The executioner, Yamada Asamone Sagiri. And it's here the man starts explaining that Yamada Asamone is the trade name of the Yamada clan Ronin, who have served as sword testers and executioners for generations. They are master swordsmen capable of testing swords and beheading criminals with a single blow. And upon hearing this, Gabimaru is shook as he says, you're an Asamone and a woman? Because this is not a title that many women get at all, so it's pretty incredible actually. And it's here Sagiri declares to him, runaway shinobi Gabimaru from issue. The shogunate has charged me with your execution. You said you wanted someone to kill you, right? I shall grant you your wish. And immediately after saying that, Gabimaru gets the sense that he's gonna die, and could die at any second, as we metaphorically see his head go flying. As he realizes that she's the real deal. She means what she's saying. As his body instinctually breaks out of his shackles. And immediately as she tries to cut him down, his body instinctually dodges it without him even realizing it. As she tells him, why did you evade? You would have died if you hadn't moved. And as they start fighting more, Gabimaru has to ask himself, wait, do I actually not want to die? And it's here in this scene, we get one of the dopest moments of the entire episode as she tells him, you know, through my job, I've been present during the final moments of many. I've learned to identify how people truly feel when they're dying. A person's true nature is reflected in the blade. Some put up a brave act until just before their death. Some desperately beg for mercy. And some lie to themselves and claim to have accepted death. Gabimaru the Hollow. You know, there's certainly a great emptiness inside you. I'm certain of it after listening to you describe your history. But you lied about one thing. You do have an attachment to life. Or more specifically, you actually love your wife. And as he starts freaking out, she says, "To you, is she not your reason to live?" And it's here as we go back through these flashback scenes again, we realize he does love her and he's been lying to himself. Enraged by this, he grabs one of the guard's swords and attacks Sagiri as she tells him to his face, "I know I'm right. Why do you lie to yourself? You couldn't die during your executions because of your feelings for her. Are you not just telling yourself that you have no attachment to life?" Enraged by her words, Gabimaru tells her, "You know nothing about the world I've lived in," as he insists that he is hollow. But it's here in this moment, we're going to transition to one of my favorite scenes in the whole episode, as we go to a flashback to Gabimaru and his wife, as she tells him, "You're not hollow." As he tells her, "No, I think the nickname suits me well. I've grown too accustomed to terrible, ugly things, and I can only show you the same." But it's here as she embraces him, she tells him, "That's not true at all. You're kind. After all, you're the only one who hasn't or wasn't repulsed by my face." As we see, she has a terrible scar across her face. And we can see that these words truly touched him right here. And it's here she tells him that, in Iwagakari, men are soldiers and women bear children. We're not allowed to live as people. That's what happened to my face. My father burned it so I'd give up on trying to live like an ordinary woman. Extremely fucked up, I gotta say. But then tells him, "But people's hearts don't die so easily." And it's here in this moment, she actually kisses him. And he gets super, super embarrassed about it. As she says, "Look how much you're blushing right now. Someone like you couldn't possibly be hollow, could they?" And as we see these two share this tender moment together, I just gotta tell you guys that Gabimaru's relationship with his wife is honestly really adorable and beautiful. It's one of the highlights of this show. So I have to say, get used to it, because we will see more scenes like this. And they are great together. They really are. But it's here as we transition back to the present. We see those times aren't here anymore. As Gabimaru says, "I am Gabimaru the Hollow. I'm a heartless monster. Try as I might, I can never be human." And it's here we see that he tried. He tried hard to be married to her and to be happy while continuing their lifestyle. But it just wasn't working. She was so pained seeing him having to kill people so they could live peacefully. As one night, he swears to himself that, "I'll quit making a living by killing people. The two of us will live a quiet life. That's what's best for his daughter. The chief will understand, right? I won't kill anyone. We'll live in a quiet place and live an ordinary life, just like normal people." But as we know, that did not happen. As he screams to Sagiri, "It's not possible." But she suddenly says, "No, it is possible." And it's here, she takes out this scroll. She says, "This right here is an official pardon. Not only does this dismiss all charges, but it even grants you the Shogun's protection. With this, neither the magistrate's office nor the village's shinobi could harm you. But it comes with one condition. You will go to the underworld." And it's here we're going to start explaining the plot of the series. And it's here Sagiri starts telling him that there's a land brimming with fertility and joy where there is no pain. Shin Senkyo. Believed in since ancient times, people have called it paradise, the other side, and heaven. Butterflies and flowers dance. Beautiful voices can be heard singing. It is as the legends describe. It is said that an immortality-granting elixir of life can be found in Shinsenkyo. The shogunate sent a search party there to acquire said elixir. But it's here as we see their ship returning from this place one night. We see that the boat is completely empty besides flowers. But upon closer inspection, we realize these aren't just flowers. These are the remains of the search party. As Sagiri says, 5 more expeditions were sent, but no one returned. Except for the things they became, that is. And it's here, naturally, Gabimaru doesn't really believe her as he says, this sounds like a fairy tale. As Sagiri says, everyone believed it to be merely a fairy tale until they saw that. And it's here we see how the Shogunate feels about this, because instead of being scared about people turning into flowers and dying, he's excited, saying the elixir of life must be there. As he says, choose expendable people for the next operation. Gather criminals condemned to death from around the country and send them to the island. Whoever can bring back the elixir of life will be pardoned. As Sagiri tells him, I came here looking for potential candidates for that. Someone with skill and a fierce desire to live. And it's here just to sweeten the pot a little bit for Gabimaru. She says, on my way here, I heard your wife is still in Awagakari. Sorry guys, it is a little hard to pronounce. Since the day you were captured, she's closed herself off and hasn't spoken to anyone. She must believe you'll return. And it's here Sagiri asks him flat out again, so do you really not have an attachment to life? Traveling to a mysterious island with heinous criminals, condemned to death and competing with them for a pardon, is the only way for you to be reunited with her. Will you risk that for a life with her, Gabimaru the Hollow? But right as we're at the apex of our conversation, right before the crucial moment, these fools around them try to stop them from leaving, saying that if you interfere, you're going to go down with him, Asamone or not. And it's here in this moment, as he remembers his wife one more time, Gabimaru starts crying as he's made up his mind. As Gabimaru turns to Sagiri and says, you said you wanted to see some ninjutsu earlier, right? As he activates this really cool ability that Mappa killed in this episode, guys. It looks great. As he says, if this'll do, then just watch this. Ninpo, eccentric blaze. And as the smoke clears on this fight, this really epic scene, we see him sitting on top of the bodies. As Gabimaru tells her, I'll do it. I'll find this elixir of life with you. As he says, it doesn't matter if I have to face condemned criminals or mysterious islands. I'll make it back alive. For her. And with that, our episode ends. And damn, guys, I just gotta say, this series is gonna be so good. As you guys know, when I was doing my What Will I Be Watching video, I was kind of scared for this series. I was a little scared because there's been so many delays and all that in the anime industry recently. And the trailers for this show were using pre-animated footage and all that, which is typically not a good thing. So I was quite worried going in. But if this is Mappa we're talking about, if anyone can do this well, it'll be Mappa. And after watching this episode, I feel more confident in them now. I shouldn't have doubted to begin with. This is Gopa over here, the goats. But I feel very good after watching this episode because it was great, guys. This is going to be a huge smash hit this season. I'm telling you now. This is probably going to be the most popular show this season, besides maybe like Demon Slayer. And it's going to be a crazy ride, guys. So buckle up. I'm excited. I really hope you guys are excited because we're doing this on the channel. So let me know what your thoughts on this episode are down below, because I would love to hear them. But until next time, guys, I hope you have a great day, week, month, and year. And until then, deuces, have a blessed day, and just stay awesome, guys. You know, you're all awesome. You, right there, looking at this screen, you right there, you're awesome. I'll see you guys next time.